All right, everybody, 8:34, and political tension starting to boil over, right, as election day draws nearer. No matter which side you were on, you may be experiencing some kind of election anxiety.
Yeah, what if your candidate doesn't win? Do you fear for the future? I mean, it is a common concern, so we're turning to clinical psychologist Dr. Gardere, who has some pointers on how to handle this political anxiety. So good morning, Dr. Gardere. Thanks for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Well, if the polls are any indication, at least in the presidential race, it's anybody's game right now. So I feel like there is so much political anxiety because it could go either way, no matter which side you're on. Do you not agree? I mean, how do we handle all of this?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we do know, studies have been done that shows that constant and disturbing news, especially around this particular election cycle, can actually cause a toll on your physical, emotional, and mental health. So really, it's important that we establish boundaries around the consumption of this kind of news. And it really begins with getting the information that you need, making sure that you fact check it. I know that's a bad word these days, but fact check it so that you are getting the proper information, and then be able to communicate with others with empathy. Doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum that you're on at this point. It's really about people maintaining their relationships, not losing relationships because of this particular election, and finding more of the commonalities instead of the differences.
Okay.
But you're right. This is a very, very tough one, and people are being affected by it.
Yeah, and I guess the question also involves the media, and we are fair and balanced right here at Pix 11, right? But what role does the media play when it comes to political anxiety? Because a lot of rhetoric that's out there is that the media is part of the problem.
Yeah, well, I have to tell you that I've been working with media journalists just like yourselves around a lot of the anxiety and PTSD, because when they are framed as being the enemy of the people, there are folks who throw them some very bad looks, who may even spit at them or call them bad names. So it's really important that we are there for our journalists and to offer them some sort of therapy. But it really does bring up, Dan, the importance of addressing what does this feel like when you are being demonized. We saw what happened with the people of Puerto Rico at the recent rally at MSG, those disgusting statements. What has been said about Haitians. I happen to be Haitian, eating dogs and cats, and all of those really horrific rumors, how that affects communities. So whether we're journalists, whether we're Haitians, Puerto Ricans, migrants, LGBTQ, it's important that we all come together and be able to talk to one another, but most importantly, come up with empowerment strategies on how we make our communities more resilient and actually move forward in the future with an agenda about being equal to everyone else.
See, the issue is, though, we could do our part, but people on the other side of the conversation might not want to do their part and be open to, finding a mutual understanding, right? But there's one thing to avoid political anxiety, but what if you're already there? Do we just avoid, keep the TVs off, don't read the paper, don't talk to anybody?
Yeah, and it's about the boundaries. You're right, Hazel. It's really important about getting the information you want and then just turning it off. Don't overdose on it. Find certain things that you can do after you get your information, especially if it's stressing you out. Whether it's getting involved with a hobby, spending time with friends, being able to speak to others. But I think it's really important that we not be victims to a lot of this hate speech, but instead be an upstander, not a bystander. That means getting involved, donating to your political party, whatever that may be, and voting. The power of the vote is so important because it really does empower us, and it gives us the freedom that we're always looking for. That's what makes our nation so great.
And it used to be this thing, Dr. Gardere, that you could have a healthy conversation, no matter what side of the aisle you were on, with the opposing side, and kind of talk about your differences and what you agree on. And it seems like those kind of conversations are further and further away, right? You can't have those conversations without somebody getting angry or somebody getting heated, right? So what do you do in those situations when somebody in your house may not agree with you, or your friends may not agree with you, or whatever it may be? Do you not have those healthy conversations anymore? Because sometimes it's cathartic to have those conversations. What do you do?
It is cathartic to have them, and I don't think you should stop having them. First of all, you lay the groundwork, and you could say, hey, listen, we're not going to raise our voices. We're going to be able to express different opinions. We're not going to step on one another, and let's see what it is that we can learn from one another without having to give up.
Okay, but what if it goes there, right? What if it goes?
Yeah.
What if it goes there? Now you're in that conversation. You've laid the groundwork, but now it's heated.
Well, then you say, I love you, you're my friend, you're my family, let's just table the discussion, and then we can come back to this later on. Just that simple.
So regardless of who we vote for, right now, where should we focus our attention and energy to avoid all these triggers?
Well, I think we need to look forward to what's going to happen after the election. How do we preserve our relationships? How do we preserve our democracy? Because we are at a point here where that can be lost from the things that we're hearing, from the hate speech and so on. And how do we bring our communities together? Because a lot of this has been, let's just be honest, one political party is about dividing people. But I think it's important that we bring people together no matter what their political affiliation may be. We are one nation under God, and let's make America kind again. That should be the goal.
All right, Dr. Gardere, always appreciate you and your words of wisdom. Thank you for being here, all right?
Thank you.